Another game, another comeback win, and there's a lot to be thankful for when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes on a thankful Thursday edition of Locked On Hurricanes.
Your Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a thankful Thursday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the everydayer for making this your first listen of the day. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking everything but your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I'm the credentialed Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Hours, also the co-host of the Surgecast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast, along with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. Got a very fun special Thursday Thanksgiving edition of the show as we get to recap the 4-3 comeback win for your Carolina Hurricanes on Wednesday night against division rival New York Rangers. Also get to talk about the amazing game from Jack Drury and also Jackson Blake. We actually hear from both of them as well from their post-game press conferences, and also got to talk about how electric Seth Jarvis has been since coming back from injury and how Martin Each is continuing to put himself in some hard conversations and putting himself a little bit farther into the points battle. But before we jump into all of that, you can start to see a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now, like I said, the Carolina Hurricanes in another comeback fashion win beat the New York Rangers on Wednesday night, and it's another multi-goal third period. Going into the third, the Carolina Hurricanes, are they're down 3-2, kind of scrapping along first couple periods. Definitely a tight contest, and once again, just finding a way to just play their game and finding a way to not just be like, okay, well, this is a tough game, it's, phone it in, stuff like that. That's just something luckily that this team just doesn't do. Like, every night that the Hurricanes are going to find a way to battle back. And that's something that really speaks to just how the culture and just how the work ethic of this team is the fact that you will never really see them ever just give up in a game. They're always going to keep battling. They're always going to keep finding the way. And you've seen it on the bench how mostly like bench after a goal is scored or if something happens, that team is so dialed in on the bench. Like you'll see some other, you look at some other teams and like you can see that, okay, they're kind of locked in and stuff like that, or maybe some guys aren't really there. But if you look at the Carolina Hurricanes bench, like no one's phased, no one's freaking out. They're not chirping each other. They're finding a way to stay dialed in and still being, confident in their structure. And that's what you see with the Hurricanes. Because looking at the game overall, it says 1-1 after 1, and then it was 3-2 Rangers after 2, and then Carolina got 2 goals in the third period. But shot totals, the Hurricanes outshot the Rangers 30-22. It was 12-11 after the first, and it was 9-5 Carolina in the second, and then 9-5 or 9-6 in the third. And talk about just an outstanding night once again from the special teams. 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, and then 2 for 4 on the power play. So the Hurricanes are getting a lot of chances on the power play. They were capitalizing on them really, really well. So when you talk about just an overall great game, if your name was Jack, Jack Drury gets the first goal of the game on the most impossible angle. I don't know how that puck went in on Shesterkin. It's almost like that the goal that we saw from Jordan Martin a few games back, where somehow he just sneaks in at the most weirdest angle, but somehow it works. So Hurricanes are actually up 1-0, just under 5 minutes into the first. And then, later in the period, Johnny Brodzinski did tie for the Rangers. So, you're 1-1 after 1. Like, okay, that's not terrible. It's going to be a tough game between both of these teams, pretty evenly, fought, tight teams going into this game, especially when you look at the division standings in the Metro. Then, of course, once again, the power play steps up huge. And, of course, why not being Seth Jarvis getting his 6th goal this season on the power play? I mean, he scored a shorty in his first game back. Now he comes back into this one, gets a power play goal because, it's Seth Jarvis. And the thing is, for the Jack Drury and the Seth Jarvis goals, Martin Necas, once again, multi-point night. It's almost like a common occurrence for this guy at this point. Is the fact that it's just like you can check the score line, and it's just Martin Necas, goal and 2 assists, a goal. It's just like, for whatever reason, like almost every game now, you can go and look at the stat line, and it's just Martin Necas multi-points in some variety. That's just how legitimately like dialed in he is right now. That's 2 primary assists on both Hurricanes goals. The first 2 goals of the Hurricanes scored. Like I said, Jack Drury at 4:53 into the first, and then it was Seth Jarvis a minute 13 into the second period. Because that's what the Hurricanes going into the period had a power play, found a way to just make it work to where they got it to Seth Jarvis and he put the puck in the net. Absolutely great pass by Martin Necas. It's just like, whatever reason, he's just on another level this year to find teammates. Like, he's not passing, he's not like putting the puck. It's not turning it over a lot. He's finding a way to not control the puck too long where he loses it, or he's not giving it up too early where he also loses it. Like, Martin Necas has found a way in his game to know at the right time to make the right pass. And that's what he's been doing all season so far. And that's why you see where he is in his point totals. And that's why you see, once again, another multi-point game, continues his new point streak. I mean, have yourself another run, Martin Necas. Unfortunately, exactly 8 minutes later, Brett Berard scored his first goal of the season for the Rangers, ties that game back up, and then later into the period with less than 2 minutes left, Adam Erstrom scores his second of the season for the Rangers. Now it's 3-2 going into the last period. There's a little bit of pressure on the Hurricanes, but also not really, because the fact that it's like, okay, it's 1 goal. You just came back from 2 down against Dallas on Monday night, so already that there's a huge period coming up, and that's what you kind of expect right now for the Hurricanes. Is the fact that they'll start or they'll have a dominant period, but not be on the right end of it. But if 1 goal goes in, or if something just clicks the right way, then somehow it's just a domino effect. It's almost like a storm just brews as the period goes on, where it continues to build on itself to where the Hurricanes are going to hear is 1, 2, 3, et cetera of goals. So that's kind of what you see going into in the third period, because almost halfway through, Jesperi Kotkaniemi first third of the season, absolutely. I don't know how that puck got in on a wraparound, but somehow just Robinson finding a way to keep the puck in. Him and Jesperi were working together, and then got Jesperi Kotkaniemi who was behind the net. And somehow he got around to the other side and beat Shesterkin. And you're like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. They can't. It's just it goes in there. They don't ask how. They just ask how many. And Jesperi Kotkaniemi got the goal, and there it is. And then less than 3 minutes later, once again on the power play, and this was an absolute beauty of a Jack to Jackson connections. This is the Jackson 5. Well, the Hurricanes have the Jack 3. And just the fact that it was a Jack Roslovic for his 2nd assist of the season, to Jack Drury for his 5th assist of the season, multi-point night for him as well, because like I say, he got the first goal of the game, to Jackson Blake for his 7th of the season, putting him a little bit more into Calder talks as well for Rookie of the Year. His 7th of the season, 2nd power play goal for the Hurricanes in the game, and there is your game winner with a good amount of time left into the game, just a little under 8 minutes left. But they found a way to they score goals. Another multi-goal third period, another comeback win. You give Rangers another loss. Now you're building on you've won 2 games this week, which a lot of people thought you were going to struggle with the fact that you don't have Pierre Kachekov, you don't have Frederick Anderson. I was trying to be cautiously optimistic. I knew this week was going to probably be tough because it's a big test when you're looking at a Dallas team who's really good in the West. Your division rival and the Rangers are not that far behind you in a really tight battle with the top 4. And then, of course, you got Florida later this week. But being able to find a way to stay in your game, stay composed, and find a way to score goals and come back like that, you love to see that. And just what an amazing celebration by Jackson Blake, too, because you could tell that kid was fired up. And just for the fact that it was a game-winning goal on the power play, and I just love the fact it was Jack to Jackson, that you could not have scripted a better way to have a power play goal with your second unit, who got their first goal of the season as a group. And, of course, it had to be the rookie, because why not, right? So, in fact, that win actually extended the Kings' home winning streak. So, currently, they are in a 9-game home winning streak for the third time in franchise history. Now, the other times was February 27th to April 7th, 2009, which was a 12-game home winning streak, and then December 31st, 2005 to January 28th, 2006, and that was a 9-game winning streak at home. So right now, this team is putting themselves in really good company of putting themselves in a good spot to maybe create more magic as the season goes along. So overall, you'll take the win. It's great. Spencer Martin, another great game. Did what he needed to do. The team did what they had to do as well. They're keeping their 4-goal-a-game point pace, 4 goals a game pace going right now. Got that 1-4-3. Very huge. You'll take that into Thanksgiving, and then you get ready for Florida on Friday afternoon at home, and then you go to Florida on Saturday afternoon as well. So we are going to listen to Jack Drury and also talk about Jackson Blake as well, because those guys were monstrous for the Hurricanes. We also got to talk about Martin Necas, which we'll kick that off in segment 2 here in a second. So stick around as we'll continue to talk about the amazing check forward in his season, along with listening to Jack Drury's postgame. So stick around as we'll do that here in a second on a thankful Thanksgiving Thursday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers are going to bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. They also filtered out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And we're not talking just sports. We're also talking about concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. If you want to see a Broadway play, Gametime can help you out. If you want to go see an NHL game or an NFL game, or if you want to go to a concert, if there's a really big one that's coming out you want to go see, well, they can help you out with that. And with their all-in pricing, you just toggle this feature, and it'll show your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Now, the feature that I really like is their seat viewfinder, because you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you don't have to worry about obstructed views or awkward angles or stuff like that. Because let's be honest, you want to take the guesswork out of buying tickets, and you can do that with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. That's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Well, it's Gametime. Welcome back to segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. So like I said, at the end of segment 1, we're going to talk about Martin Necas real quick and just how great of a season he's having so far. And then we're going to jump into the Jack Drury post-game conference and give my thoughts on that. But with Martin Necas, of course, last night, another 2 points for him, both assists, both primaries. Awesome. We'd love to see that he continues his new point streak that he has going on. So as of right now, Martin Necas' pace in 82 games, if he plays all 82 games this year, if he keeps this current pace up, he is on pace for 45 goals, 93 assists for 138 points, and a plus 30 Yeah. That's your NHL points leader right now. And speaking of that, through November 27th, and this is from the NHL specific account, they're points leaders. Now, Nikita Kucherov, 33, Jack Eichel, 34, Kirill Kaprizov and Nathan MacKinnon are both at 35. Martin Necas stands alone on top of the mountain, 37 points. Yeah, that's why he's on that really great pace of 138 already, because that is just how good of a season he is having. Martin Necas right now, what more can I say about this guy? I mean, you've heard me talk about him a lot, over the last few episodes. It's just the fact of how it's just insane to watch how good he's playing right now, and in the fact that the last Hurricanes player had 100 points with Eric Stahl when they won the Cup. No one's ever come close to that. Necas is possibly on a 135 point pace. Will he get there? I'm not sure. If he does, that would be huge. He's the first Czech player in over 9 years to lead, and that was Jacob Voracek. He's the first Hurricane to either retire outright lead a points title or just points in the league since Rod Brind'Amour of 2006, and that was Marian Hossa, like pre-Chicago Blackhawks Marian Hossa. So it's been a long time, and for the fact that the Hurricanes made it work out with him to keep him here, and the fact of how good he's playing, and just the fact he's on another a decent extended points streak run again, and just where he's at right now, like I said, you don't usually see our Carolina Hurricane in the top 10 in points, and right now we have one who's leading the league and leading it by at least a couple points over Kaprizov and MacKinnon. So just honestly, just gotta keep giving your flowers to Martin Necas, and he's making his presence felt, and all he's doing is making this Heart Talks a little bit more stronger. Yes, there's a lot of games left, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's hard to debate or argue about how good this guy is right now. And you guys just gotta keep enjoying the run that he's on, and hopefully that he just doesn't stop, because this is a great season for number 88, Martin Necas. So now, all that being said, let's move on to Jack Drury, because he had a great night himself, multi-point night, got the first goal of the game, and then, of course, helped out in that Jack to Jackson connection for the game winner. So without further ado, let's jump into the Jack Drury post-game press conference right now.
Surprised that, I mean, that's a tough play for a goalie to make, but that's pretty much you couldn't put it anywhere else for it.
Yeah, I think, we practice shooting from a lot of different angles. Jeff Daniels, our assistant coach, does a great job after practice. So honestly, taking that shot a few times. So you've worked on it in practice, gives you some confidence in the game.
What does that do for you confidence-wise? I mean, being able to score a goal like that, I mean, does that give you a boost? Like, kind of like, hey, I can do it all if I can score on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's one of the best in the league, so that's cool. But I think, whether the puck's going in or not, you got to try to maintain confidence. Don't rely too much on the things out of your control. So it's a good start to the game, and glad we got the win.
Special teams always important. It was again tonight, obviously for you guys.
Yeah, big to get the 2 power play goals, and penalty kill did a great job. That's one of the premier power play units in the league, and they shut him down. So Jordan and Murray did a great job, and all the D too.
This team's good. So what does it say about this team? Back-to-back games, coming behind, third period victory. Just what does it say about this team?
We got great leadership. I think it starts with the staff. They give us a lot of faith in ourselves, even when we're down, and then our veteran guys have been through it a lot, and they keep us confident, even regardless of what the score of the game is.
Remember you said during the playoff series last year that there would be no family tests. Is there at least something on Thanksgiving after you score? Score on the Rangers?
I'll definitely shoot him a text tomorrow. But good to get the win, but we know we got to see him again later this year. So
big thank you to Jack Drury and the Carolina Hurricanes for that, and it's interesting to hear from the guys themselves when it comes to talking about what they're kind of working on, and you kind of see it coming to fruition for them on the ice, and the fact that Jack said that Jeff Daniels and them are working on different angles, so it's not just okay, we're going to put you in the easier angles to shoot at. It's like, no, we're going to put you in different spots, and I think that's a good thing for the Hurricanes, or just something in general for the fact to think about is where you're finding ways to make the weird, awkward angles work for your advantage. And that's why it's good to see that they're not just going for the easier stuff. They're making it to where it's like, okay, any type of situation that happens, that oh, we've done this, we've practiced this, maybe this will work this time. So they're finding ways to take the unorthodox approach of making things work or use them in the game setting after you see them in practice. So it's good to see the fact that the team is still finding ways to make maybe broken situations or maybe, in goal placements where maybe it's not 100% like, okay, this is a low percentage shot, but somehow they still make it work. So it's good to hear. That's why I said I love being able to have these to get the perspective from the guys themselves, because it's good to know what you're kind of like. You see it on the ice, and then you hear it from the players, like, "Hey, yeah, we've been practicing this. This is what we've been doing." So it gives you a nice perspective of not just being like, "Okay, I saw it. That's cool," but now it's like, "Oh, okay, I saw it, and we know why they're doing it. It's because the guys are learning it in practice." That's really great to hear. And just talking about the special teams too, for the fact that you shut down one of the premier power plays in the Rangers, completely neutralize them for 0 for 2, and then you go on your own power play, which is doing really good itself too. Like, let's not sell the Hurricanes power play short. You're talking about a power play and a penalty kill units that are both top 10 in the league. And the Hurricanes scored 2 power play goals on the New York Rangers, and that's huge. Because you're talking, like I said, you have Seth Jarvis to kick off the second period with 1 second left on the first power play, scores it. Now you're up 2-1. And then later in the game, you score a very big power play goal with less than 8 minutes left, and that's from Jackson Blake, your rookie. So now you're finding ways to capitalize on your own power plays while neutralizing the other team. So that way you're making your special teams units click more. And that's kind of the same thing you saw for the Dallas game too, to where they're making it work and finding ways to, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we're making it work. So that's why you're seeing it that way. And that's why it's good. That's why it's great to see the fact that the Hurricanes are finding more ways to make the special teams work in their favor on both sides, and also just being able to use what they on the ice to make it work for them. So it's just fun the fact that it's like, is there any family text with his uncle Chris Drury, who's the GM of the Rangers? But it's just, you gotta love Jack for the fact, like, yeah, there might be a text, but we got them later on this season, so don't want to get too cocky with it. But it's great to see that Jack is still thriving. He's finding ways to make it work for him, and just showing why the Hurricanes brought him back for a couple more seasons, and why he's continuously proving himself to why he maybe could be that guy you could see more into the top 6 a little bit more often, maybe more in the top 9. But even if he's a fourth line center too, Jack Drury plays a really great game, and you can see how his career has been, that he's someone that you kind of overlook as the fact that he's not a big name or he's not popping off as much. But given the opportunity and given the actual chances to make himself work for you, you can clearly see that too. So that's really great from Jack Drury. Now we go from one Jack to a Jackson, and we get to listen to the rookie Jackson Blake in his press conference. So stick around as we'll do that here in a second on a Thursday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. If you're a renter, I'd start taking advantage of Built if I were you. Here's the thing. We earn points on groceries, travel, and practically everything else we buy. We should also be earning points on rent, one of our biggest monthly expenses. Built changed the game by letting renters earn high-value points on rent in around their neighborhood. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points toward. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnhl. That's joinbilt.com/lockedonnhl. Make sure to use our URL so that way they know we sent you. That's once again joinbuilt.com/lockedonnhl to start earning points on your rent payments today. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. Like I said, at the end of segment 2, we're going to listen to Jackson Blake and get his post-game reactions from, of course, his game-winning goal on the power play, and just talking about the team as a whole and all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's just jump in right now and listen to Jackson Blake from his post-game conference after Wednesday night's win against the New York Rangers right now.
One of the best goalies in the league, and you make him look silly on that goal.
Oh, jeez, I don't know about that, but yeah, obviously, he's obviously, like you said, one of the best. I knew that coming into the game, and I was like, in the back of my head, if I could score on this guy, would be pretty cool. And fortunately, it slipped in there. So yeah, super pumped that went in.
Passed by Jacko too.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that in the first. We saw that. But I think, great job by KK and Rosie driving through. That opens that seam up. And, yeah, like you said, great play by Jacko. I just had the easy part to finish it there.
You had a lot of time to think about that shot a little bit. You were kind of alone in the slot. Were you surprised?
I was a little surprised. I kind of little peek to see if anyone was next to me, so I kind of settled it down. It was spinning a little bit, and then just kind of picked my spot, and fortunately went in. So,
as a rookie, is it hard when you make a turn? You turn the puck over in the defensive zone that leads to a goal early in the game to shake that off?
Yeah, obviously that was not what I wanted to start the game, but the only thing you can do is just look at the next shift. I mean, same goes if you miss an empty net or something like that. You just got to look at the bright side and go for the next one. And, if you hang your head on that, you're probably going to feel kind of crappy the rest of the game. So, I tried to do the best I could to kind of put that in the back of my head and move on. And obviously, like I said, I didn't want to do that. So I try not to do that anymore.
Jax, a few weeks ago, you were talking about it seeming surreal, just what's been going on. You still feel that way?
Yeah, I mean,
all the media here today.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever not feel that way, at least this year. I mean, I'm still nervous before games, obviously, and I was the same way in college though with that. But yeah, this is unreal. I mean, playing a guy like to watch Panarin tonight. I mean, and then like you said, Igor. I mean, those two are some of the best at their positions, and I've been watching them lately, and. It's unbelievable, and I'm just super blessed to be here.
A lot of talk about how this kind of week was a gauntlet going in. So 2 games out and 4 points now in the bank. It's got to feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, obviously we're going to enjoy this one tonight. Have a good Thanksgiving. I know some families are here and stuff. My family's in town, so I'll enjoy that with them. And then right back to work, right? Back to back. So those are always fun. But, I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun playing these teams, too. They're so good.
What's Dan going to say about this one?
What'd you say?
What's Dan going to say about this one?
Yeah, he'll probably critique me. He always does, especially in that first period, that little screw up there. I'll hear about that, but yeah, I mean, to score with them in the building and to win a game with all of my family here tonight. It's the first one they're all together at the game. It's unbelievable. I'll probably get my dad down here and talk to Berkey. I know they're old friends, so.
Big thank you to Jackson Blake, of course, and once again the Carolina Hurricanes for that. And listen to Jackson Blake talk. It's kind of crazy to think that this kid's like just barely out of college, was a Hobie Baker finalist last year, and he has that calm demeanor of someone who's like, yeah, he's like he said it himself. He still gets nervous before games. Of course, he did it at North Dakota as well. But he's not letting the moment overwhelm him too much. Like it's finding ways to play like how he has been his entire career. And that's what's got him here, basically, to set him up to succeed and find ways to score goals and do what he needs to do to continue his success right now. And the fact that he was able to score a goal at home in front of course, his dad and his mom, and, of course, the whole family is there. So it's cool to see that you got 2 generations of Blakes in the same building, and the fact that they got to see him score a game winner on the power play like day before Thanksgiving. So now you get to relax with family, enjoy the holiday, and enjoy another win, because that's 4 out of 4 to start the week, in terms of points, and you're feeling good about it. And the fact that just talking about how guess he messed up earlier in the game, but then found a way to redeem himself too, and just being able to finding a way to not completely be down on yourself, but finding ways to make it work for you, and finding your game and capitalizing on that. And that's even with being Star Trek, of being across from guys like Shesterkin or Panarin, and just being in the NHL, and still how surreal it is for him. So being able to work through your emotions of being, okay, you are in the NHL, you are a rookie player, you scored a big power play goal to win the game for your team, and you get to do it in front of your family who's in town for Thanksgiving, and of course with everyone else too in the building. And another sellout crowd. I think that's 78 straight sellouts, and it's just one of those things where if you're a Carolina Hurricanes player or a fan or management or what, just being around this team, something special. And the fact that we're seeing special moments almost every night, and that's even with or without a holiday coming up. You just appreciate what you have, and just being able to watch these guys play and just being able to come up in huge moments. And especially for Jackson Blake, like I said, who's a rookie who's really putting himself into a good spot for maybe some Calder, talks too, because he really needs to be. The fact that he's not right now is kind of surprising of how good of a season he's having right now. I would definitely not want to overlook Jackson Blake and just how good of a season so far he's having. He needs to be in some Calder Trophy, talks for Rookie of the Year. But always fun to hear from those guys. Like I said, big thank you to the Hurricanes for being able to do that. I hope everyone enjoys those. But yeah, guys, without that being said, like I said, we're 2 games into this 4-game week. The Hurricanes have won 2 straight, 4 out of 4. Now you get the Florida Panthers on Friday and Saturday. Hopefully close of the week, and hopefully get Peter Kochetkov back as well. But without further ado, guys, that will actually wrap up a Thursday Thanksgiving edition of Locked On Hurricanes. If you want to keep up everything that I'm doing covering your Carolina Hurricanes, you can check me out at OneTrueZach on X. The podcast is LO_Hurricanes. If you're on Blue Sky, I am at the Zachary Martin if you want to check me out over there. I do have a link tree in both of my bios where you can check out my articles at the Hockey Writers, or just go to thehockeyWriters.com, find my author page, and you can find all my articles over there. If you want to check out my other podcast, The Surgecast, well, you can do that on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. For Locked On Hurricanes, well, on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, just go to Locked On Hurricanes, leave a 5-star rating and review, so that way I can read it on the show. On YouTube, well, it's Locked On Hurricanes, but also make sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss the show, hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you liked the show as well. And in the comments section, since it's a Thanksgiving edition, give me your favorite side for Thanksgiving and your favorite dessert, and also what you're thankful for. It could be for the Hurricanes, family, or whatever. But in the comments, like I said, favorite side dish, favorite dessert, and what you're thankful for this season. But I'm just thankful for you guys for listening to the show, because I really do appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun doing this every day for 5 days a week covering the Carolina Hurricanes. Has been a lot of fun, and just being able to do this. So thank you once again. Make sure to share this podcast with all other Caniacs so they become everydayers just like you. And I hope everyone enjoyed this Thursday Thanksgiving edition of the podcast. Hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving. Make sure to have a lot of great food, have some great memories, and just be thankful for another year of being able to just, support this team and just, being surrounded with family and having a lot of fun. But like I said, guys, hope everyone enjoys their Thursday. Have a great Thanksgiving. And until next time, as always, let's go Canes.